Have you ever tried Filipino cuisine? Specifically, have you savored the rich flavors of Batchoy? The diverse and exciting world of Filipino food where every dish tells a story. Today, we venture into the heart of Iloilo province, the birthplace of the beloved Batchoy. This popular noodle soup is a comforting symphony of flavors, boasting a rich broth, tender meat, and hearty noodles. It's more than just a dish. It's a culinary experience that invites you to comprehend the essence of Filipino culture. Its popularity has transcended the borders of Iloilo, making Batchoy a nationwide favorite. It's the kind of dish that warms your soul on a rainy day, that brings families together around the dinner table. It's a dish that embodies the spirit of Filipino cuisine. Rich, hearty, and full of love. So, fasten your culinary seatbelts, folks. Stay tuned as we dive into the process of cooking this delicious dish. In order to create a perfect Batchoy, you need the right ingredients. First and foremost, we have 500 grams of thinly sliced pork belly. This gives our Batchoy its rich, meaty flavour and satisfying texture. Equally important is 500 grams of thinly sliced pork liver. This adds a distinct, robust taste that truly sets Batchoy apart. For those who enjoy a bit of adventure, you might opt for 200 grams of thinly sliced pork kidney. Remember, this is optional, but it does add a unique depth to the flavour profile. Then we have 250 grams of miki noodles, or egg noodles if you prefer. These hearty noodles not only add substance to our soup, but also wonderfully absorb the flavours of our broth. 1 medium-sized onion and 4 cloves of garlic, both minced, form the aromatic base of our dish. They provide a sweet and pungent backdrop that complements the rich meatiness of our other ingredients. Next, we have 8 cups of beef or pork broth. This is the heart of our soup, providing a rich, savoury liquid that brings all our ingredients together. 2 tablespoons each of cooking oil and fish sauce are essential for sautéing and seasoning our ingredients, while salt and pepper are indispensable for tailoring the taste to your liking. Finally, we garnish our Batchoy with chopped green onions for a fresh, vibrant finish and chopped fried garlic for a delightful crunch. And for an extra touch of indulgence, you could add hard-boiled eggs, halved and laid gently on top. These are the key components that make up our Batchoy. Each ingredient plays a crucial role, bringing its own unique characteristic to the dish. Whether it's the rich meat, the hearty noodles, the aromatic vegetables, or the savoury broth, each element contributes to the symphony of flavours and textures that is Batchoy. Now that you know what you need, we can start cooking. The first step is to prepare all the ingredients. We're starting with the protein first, the pork belly, liver, and optional kidney. Slice them thinly, making sure each piece is uniform to ensure even cooking. A word of caution here: if you opt to include kidney, you'll want to clean it meticulously, removing any tough membranes that might spoil the texture of your soup. Now, let's turn to the aromatics. We have 1 medium-sized onion and 4 cloves of garlic. Mince them finely, remember, these are going to be the flavour base of our Batchoy. The finer you mince, the more flavour they'll release into the broth. Speaking of broth, we have a choice to make. You can go homemade or store-bought, depending on your time and preference. If you're going with homemade, be sure to prepare it in advance. Whether it's beef or pork broth, it needs to be rich and flavourful. The broth is the heart of Batchoy, so don't skimp on this step. Next, we have our miki or egg noodles. These will be cooked separately, so just set them aside for now. Then, we have our seasonings. 2 tablespoons of fish sauce and some salt and pepper. The fish sauce, or patis as we call it in the Philippines, will give our Batchoy that distinct umami flavour. Salt and pepper, of course, are to taste. Remember, you can always add more later. So start with a conservative amount. Lastly, we have our garnishes. Chopped green onions add a pop of colour and a hint of freshness to the dish. And the chopped fried garlic, it's the secret weapon. It gives an irresistible crunch and an extra layer of flavour. If you're feeling fancy, you can also prepare some hard-boiled eggs. Slice them in half and they'll make your Batchoy look like it came straight from a restaurant in Iloilo. And there we have it. Everything is prepped and ready. With all the ingredients prepared, we can move on to the cooking process. Now comes the exciting part, cooking the Batchoy. We start off by warming our pot. A generous splash of cooking oil goes in, and we wait for it to heat up. Once our oil is hot enough, we toss in our minced onion and garlic. The aroma of sautéing onions and garlic is truly one of the best in the kitchen, don't you think? We stir these around until they become fragrant and translucent, a sign they're ready for the next step. Next, we introduce our thinly sliced pork belly to the pot. We let it mingle with the onions and garlic, browning slightly as it soaks up their flavors. The sizzling sound of the pork as it cooks is almost musical, a symphony of culinary delight in the making. At this point, we're ready to add in the pork liver. If you're feeling adventurous, you can also add the optional kidney. As these cook, their distinct flavors meld with the pork belly, creating a complex flavor profile that's the hallmark of a great Batchoy. Once the meats are no longer pink, we season them with fish sauce, a dash of salt, and a sprinkle of pepper. These simple seasonings enhance the natural flavors of the meat and lay the foundation for the rich, savory broth we're about to create. Now, it's time to pour in our beef or pork broth. As it trickles into the pot, it marries the flavors of the meat, onion, and garlic into a harmonious blend. We bring this mixture to a boil, then lower the heat and let it simmer. The simmering process, which should take about 15 to 20 minutes, allows the flavors to deepen and the meat to become tender. While our broth is simmering, we turn our attention to the miki noodles. Depending on the package instructions, these may need to be boiled or soaked. Once they're cooked, we drain them and set them aside, ready to become the backbone of our Batchoy. With the simmering done and the noodles prepared, we're at the end of our cooking process. But don't be too quick to turn off that stove. We have one last step, tasting. A quick taste of the broth will let us know if we need to adjust the seasoning. Remember, cooking is an art, and every artist needs to review their work. With the cooking done, it's time to assemble our Batchoy. But that, my friends, is a story for the next scene. Until then, keep those taste buds tingling with anticipation. We're almost there. It's time to assemble our Batchoy. Firstly, let's divide the cooked noodles into our serving bowls. This forms the base of our dish and will soak up that delicious broth we've prepared. Next, ladle the hot broth over the noodles, making sure to distribute the tender pork belly and liver evenly among the bowls. The broth should be piping hot as it continues to cook the ingredients and meld the flavors together even as it's served. Now let's add the finishing touches. Garnish each bowl with a generous sprinkle of chopped green onions and fried garlic. The green onions add a fresh crunch, while the fried garlic lends a toasty, aromatic note that's absolutely irresistible. For those who fancy an extra layer of richness, a halved hard-boiled egg on top is a wonderful addition. The creamy yolk melds into the broth, making each spoonful even more decadent. And voila! Your steaming bowl of Filipino Batchoy is ready to be savoured. Each spoonful is a celebration of flavour. The rich broth, the tender meat, the hearty noodles, and the crisp garnishes all come together in a symphony of textures and tastes. So grab your spoon and dive in. Whether it's a chilly evening or you're just craving some comfort food, this Batchoy is sure to hit the spot. And there you have it, a delicious bowl of Filipino Batchoy ready to be enjoyed. So that's how you make a hearty bowl of Batchoy. Remember, the secret lies in the rich broth, tender meat, and perfectly cooked noodles. Don't shy away from customizing it to your taste. Mash some pork liver for a thicker broth or add ingredients like chicharron or tofu. It's your bowl of comfort after all. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on how your Batchoy turned out. And of course, subscribe for more delicious recipes like this one. Until next time.